When I'm online, I log onto Tomorrowpictures.TV.
So let's fast forward a little bit. What do you think has changed in the world today from what you saw growing up? What are some of the differences?
The things that I have seen change are better jobs for many blacks, um, and communities have changed where some communities are integrated, where that was sort of unheard of years and years ago. Um, that's not the only change that I have seen, but the changes that came that I can't think of right now, I think it was all an advantage because today our race is doing better than ever, which means we had to have had lots of changes to get where we are today. So,
Now, would you say some of those changes are an example of that is the current president of the United States?
very much so. Yes, that's one of the changes that we can be proud of. And through the years, many blacks have been elevated to higher positions where it was unheard of years and years ago.
Growing up as a child in Memphis, Tennessee, at that time, did you ever think about or dream that there could be someone black as president of the United
I
States?
never dreamed that that would ever happen. In fact, if somebody had told me it was going to happen, I wouldn't have believed it.
When did you start to believe it?
Well, I never did. In fact, that I didn't feel that Obama was going to become president.
Even up into election night?
I didn't believe it. When they said that he had practically won, then at the very end I did believe it. But up until the very end, I just couldn't believe it because it had never happened before. And I thought they would do something crooked before they would allow it to happen. You know how they have a way of doing what they want to do with the votes.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm. So let's continue to talk about that a little bit more about change and leaders and things like that. You've had the opportunity to see a lot of great leadership in the 20th century, specifically the Kennedys and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and things like that. What do you think the importance of that type of leadership has been in America? And where do you think that if these individuals had the opportunity to live longer, things would be very different now, or maybe even better than they are now, possibly?
it's very possible. Nothing is impossible. Um, I'm sure that there would be other changes if many of those people had continued to live.
Who impressed you the most, the Kennedys or Martin Luther King or Malcolm X?
All three, you know, played a role.
What did you like about John F. Kennedy?
John F. Kennedy uh, was an ideal person. He was a role model, and had he been president longer, he would have done many things for the black people.
What about Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King was one of the greatest men who has ever lived. He spoke out, and he was not afraid.
Why is it important in life to not be afraid?
Because you don't get too much accomplished when you are afraid as you do when you're brave and strong and confident that things can be changed.
What did you like about Robert Kennedy?
Robert Kennedy was walking in John F. Kennedy's footsteps. And Robert Kennedy was for the underdog, and he would have done all that he could to help the human race, especially the downtrodden people, to have equal rights and to have the same things that other citizens enjoy.
Exclusively on Tomorrowpictures.TV.
Tomorrow Pictures.
The story is in the telling.